So we're going to cover the skills that we've gone over with Mr. Enzo. So the first thing we go over is the most important, and this is relax on a mat. And this will allow Mr. Enzo to have emotional regulation. And this happens by putting himself in such a relaxed body position that anything that's going on around him is going to be perceived as a-okay. So coming on over and giving us a DOWN and ideally resting our little chin down on the mat, perfect, just like that, is exactly what we're looking for. So this is a command-free exercise. We never say anything during this exercise. The cue or trigger for this is the mat itself. So as soon as Enzo sees the mat, he knows what we're doing. And I've had folks use this for dog-friendly hotels, for plane rides, for a multitude of different things that get their dog anxious or excited moving forward. So cars, for instance, driving by could be a trigger for a dog. Maybe it's bicycles or skateboards. And the way that you can utilize this is if it's a specific sound, you can simply Google the sound, ratchet up the volume over time. If it is a physical object that they see, then you can simply get at a distance that you can do relax on a mat with Mr. Enzo. Let's say it's 30 feet. The next day it could be 25, 20, just get closer and closer to that stimulus. So a lot of times to introduce dogs to a lot of new stimulus, I'll do relax on a mat and go to a park where there's a trail where people are zipping by. They get used to children, bicycles, other dogs, and see all of this activity but be able to relax. So a very, very crucial exercise, and again, the most important thing that we go over in our program here. So what we're going to do is toss the treats off the mat, and then we're going to be going over our clickerable exercises. So the clicker pinpoints the precise moment that Enzo has done what we're looking for. So what I'm going to do here, I'm going to take a treat, drag it up towards my face. Enzo. Second that Enzo makes eye contact, I'm going to clicker that moment. Then I'm going to not drag my treat up towards my face. Enzo. Great. Let's give him that great eye contact. Then I'm going to take a treat, toss it down on the ground over here. He's going to be interested in the treat, but has to turn back towards me. Enzo. Good. As soon as he looks at me, I clicker that moment. Very good, sir. Next, I'd like to work on some good recall. Enzo, come. So next we were working on some excellent space skills for Enzo. Enzo. Let's walk away from my kitty here. Enzo. Space. Very good. So what we want from this is about a 2-foot bubble around ourselves if he's getting close to us. We try one from behind. Enzo. Space. He stops shy. You'll notice he does a super cute thing where he'll give me a sit. That's great and really above and beyond. But not necessary. As long as he's stationary and gives me my bubble, then that is perfect. Then we can try one from the side. Space. Stops there. Perfect. Very good. Now let's go over our leave it exercise. Leave it. Good. And you notice a slight pullback. He's actually kind of gentle about it in the way that he pulls back. It's real subtle, but that's fine. Leave it. Very good. So he's interested in something and should be able to resist and not go after it. So I encourage you to work with as many different items as you can. So work with treats, then also work with bones, sticks, anything that he may be interested in, and get him to leave it. So I don't care if the dog has it in their mouth or they don't. I tell them leave it, and they work interchangeably. Enzo, touch. Good job. So what we're looking for on this one is that he's going to target my hand with his nose. Enzo, touch. Good job. So what we're looking for is we want to be able to get positioned where we wanted to go simply by targeting our hand with his nose. So then you don't have to physically coerce Enzo around. You've got a tool in your toolbox that allows him to know where he's supposed to go without having to cajole him around. So at the beginning of agility training, so getting your dog to go up ramps, inside, outside poles, all that good stuff, is simply a targeting exercise. Usually what I like to do is parlay off of my name game exercises, some recall. So, Enzo, come. Enzo, come. Yeah. So we're feeling a little tired today. Good job, bud. Very good, very good. Enzo, sit. Good job. So with our recall exercise, just start to do it from further and further distances. And you can start inside, which will be easier, and then work outside. And that will make things much more easy for you. So one thing that I did want to go over, we had spoke about when you dropped off Mr. Enzo, was this exercise, which is, I'm giving Enzo a click and a treat for checking in with me, and then he's going to be over here. Mr. Enzo checks in with me. I click her as soon as he looks at me. Walk it over here. Enzo checks in with me. So this is a simple way to get your dog to be concerned with wherever you are. So I'm not calling him. This is a default behavior. The reason it's a default behavior is because there's just no command that's associated with it. I simply give him a click and a treat for doing what I want. And so I'm conditioning him to get used to being concerned with where I am. So every time I go somewhere, he's going to look at me. I'm just going to give him a click. So he's going to say, oh, this is great. Every time the mom or dad is walking around, I need to focus on them. It can be extremely beneficial for having a dog stay close by. I know that you guys were concerned about that with your large property coming up in Minnesota. So wanted to go over that a bit as well. Enzo, sit. Good boy. Enzo, stay. So we're really at the beginning stages of our stay. Enzo, stay. Good job. And so what we want to do is I stay, I tell him stay, and then I return to him. Then give him a click, let him know that he has completed his mission. And I want him to be completely stationary during this exercise. Once he gets more comfortable and is 100% certain that, or you're 100% certain he's like a statue. As soon as you tell him stay, he can walk around and he's not going to move anywhere. At that point, then you could tell him stay, come back here, whatever, 20, 30 feet back, and then tell him to come on over. However, I've noticed that dogs, if you introduce that too quickly, they have a tendency to, that degrades their stay. They'll just start coming after you as soon as you start walking away, because they'll think that that's the call and response you're doing. Tell them stay, you start walking away, they know you're going to call them over, so they'll zip on over preemptively. So I really like to make it very, very clear that I want them to stay, so I just go stay, and then you can start to take even a couple more paces back, return, give a click to let him know that he is finished. And an intermediary step, you can certainly give him a release cue and tell him stay. Take a couple steps back, and when